So we all pretty much know the verse in Matthew 24 where Jesus Christ talks about cutting the time short, because if he didn't, there would be no flesh left. There are lots of things said about this, lots of ideas. Well, I would like to put my 2 cents in on this. And we go back to Adam. Now, Jesus is the second Adam. So if we want to see a pattern for the first Adam, we can look at the second Adam. And Romans specifically says this. Jesus is the second Adam without the transgression. Romans chapter 5. Now, it makes the most 100% sense to me that Adam fell at 33 years old. 33 years old. And if that's the case, now let me go over why I believe that. Now we know that that is a third, right? That is a third. 33 and a third percent, right? The whole theme through the Bible, a third of the angels fell. Jesus died, buried, and rose again at 33, the age of 33. So we see this, right? And it makes sense to me that is when Adam fell. But the thing that bothered me the most, because I know the calendar when Christ comes back, is that since Christ comes back in 2029, 2030, well, how is it that Adam fell at 33 if we have a 6,000 year period until he comes back? Right? And this 6,000 year period is told to us in Genesis chapter 6, verse 3, 120 Jubilees. Jubilee is 50 years. 50 times 120 is 6,000 years. We also see this pattern in the 6 days of creation, which a day is as 1,000 years to the Lord, and 1,000 years is as a day to the Lord. So we have a 6,000 year period right there shown to us. And then the day of rest, which is the 1,000 years millennium reign of Jesus Christ. So this pattern is throughout the Bible and other places too. 120. So I said, well, if Adam fell at 33 and there's 6,000 years from the fall, it should be 2033 AD, right? So I said, dang, I couldn't get out of my head for a long time, but then I was like, wait a second. Connecting this whole cutting the time short, and then knowing when Jesus was born. When was he born? He was born in 3 BC. There you go. 3 BC, cutting the time short. So now, 2030, I can see it. Jesus wasn't born on year 0 or year 1. He was born in 3 BC to cut the time short. Now I can see 2029, 2030. Coming back, 2029, 2030, and technically, the time will be totally done and fulfilled in 2033 AD, right? If Adam died in 33 AD, 6,000 years from Adam, bada bing, bada bang. So that is what I'm looking at and thinking about. Lord is just putting out my mind over and over and over. I came in 3 BC. I says, oh, that's how you cut the time short. You see, he planned it all the way from back then. See, cutting the time short. I know there's a lot of opinions out there. Also, my last community post, it's just a picture. The 2 witnesses, absolutely 100% convinced and believe that those 2 witnesses are the 10 and the 2 tribes, which Judah and Benjamin, those 2 tribes broke off from the 10 tribes. And the other 10 tribes were in one part of the land, and the other 2 tribes were in the other part of the land. So we have 10 and 2, the 2 witnesses at the end. That is in Revelation chapter 7, when the 144,000, 12,000 from 12 tribes, are sealed in their forehead with God. And they go around preaching the gospel of the kingdom. You have to rightly divide the Bible to see this. Just a little bit. We're in the dispensation of grace, where there is no difference between Jew or Gentile. We are waiting for the rapture. So that is the 2 witnesses spoke about. And you can see that in Acts chapter 1, verse 8. Says that they would be witnesses. That's talking about the Jews. That's before Paul got the gospel of grace to go to the Gentiles, a whole nother dispensation. Again, you have to rightly divide the Bible, 2 Timothy 2:15. There was this big breaking period, 2,000 years, where Israel had stumbled, and so the gospel of grace was given to Paul for the Gentiles and whoever else. And that time is about up. And when this dispensation ends, then we have the two witnesses, again, that prophetical program picking back up. And you can see that what's going to happen at the end, you have to go to the beginning, because it's a big cycle. Everything is a pattern in the Bible. Ecclesiastes 1:9, Ecclesiastes 3:15. There's nothing new under the sun. All these things repeat themselves. So again, Christ died, buried, and rose on the 30 AD, not 33 AD, because he came in 3 BC, cutting the time short, coming back in 2029, 2030 AD. Pretty cool if you ask me. And then Acts chapter 1, verse 8, again, you can see what was going on then. Israel was given 1 year to repent after the cross. They did not. So the gospel was given to Paul, went to the Gentiles. Romans chapter 11 talks all about what happened to Israel and what's going to happen to Israel. And we're about there.